to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Maria and today's video is going to be my TBR jar picks, my August TBR, and I'll say the same thing that I'm probably going to say on every TBR video, but I can't believe we're in August. But I'm also quite excited because that means we're 1 month closer to cozy spooky season. For me, September through to December are my favourite time of the year, so I secretly get a little bit happy when the year's going by quite quickly and we get to August because yeah, it means we're all a lot closer to September. But anyway, back into the video. Basically, I'm going to be picking out my prompts from the jar this month. Now, I think in the last few months I've been picking around 9, but I think this month I'm only going to pick 6 because I do have a few rereads that I'm going to be doing. So I'm starting a reread of the whole SJM backlog. So Throne of Glass will be the first one, doing that with a few of my friends on Instagram. And then I do have a few books here which I am going to add to my TBR that I've been really wanting to get to. So the first one is The Throne of Broken Gods by Amber V. Nicole. So this is the second book in the, I believe it's called Of Monsters and Gods and Monsters series, and the first book is the Book of Azrael, and I read that some time ago and rated it 4 stars, really enjoyed it. This book wasn't out yet when I read it, so I kind of had the intention to pick this one up as soon as it came out, just completely forgot about it. The third one is now out, so I want to try and catch up on that series, so I'm hopefully going to get to this one in August. And then the next one again is continuing a series, so it's The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. This is the second book in the Poppy War series. Again, I read this in June, I believe, the Poppy War, so I just want to continue with that series and see where the story goes before I forget too much of the details. This book is a make or break for this series for me. So Daisy Hates, it's the second in the kind of Magnolia Parks universe, but the first in kind of the Daisy Hates side of that story. If you don't know, the books kind of follow Magnolia Parks in some of the books and follow Daisy Hates, so the same story, the same universe, but just from slightly different perspectives. But I read Magnolia Parks and it was around a 3.5 for me. It wasn't terrible. I didn't really get the hype. I didn't really like any of the characters in there, so this is kind of the make or break book for me. If I don't enjoy this one, I may end up unhauling the series. And then the last book is The Curse of Sin. So I'm actually currently reading The Curse of Saints and really enjoying it. I'm about 30% through on that one, so I'm anticipating I'll probably want to read this one next month just to keep up to date in this series and continue reading if I do enjoy it. But we'll see. This one's a maybe because I haven't finished the first book, so we'll see how that one goes, but I'm pretty sure I'll probably want to read this next month as well. And yeah, I'm thinking I may also start a reread of An Ember in the Ashes because Air by Sabatier is coming out in October, so potentially going to read 2 of the books from that series in August and then hopefully 2 in September, ready for the release of Air in October. So pretty ambitious, my TBR this month, so I think keeping the rest of my choices to a minimum will probably be for the best. Okay, so this is my TBR cart. I did add a few different books on here and shuffled it around a little bit. A lot of the books on here were very summery and very suited to the summer season, but I'm kind of starting to feel those autumn vibes, and really it's because the weather in Ireland has been pretty terrible, so I'm ready to get cozy, so it kind of leans more towards some of my fantasy and more whimsical stories. There are a few changes on here from last month, and without further ado, we'll get into the prompts. Now, this is my TBR jar. I've shown it a few times, but this is by Bookmark by Chris, so I'll leave the link for it down below. He has a few different designs. This is my favourite, but there's quite a few on there, so you're bound to find something that you like as well. So for prompt number 1, a reread. Okay, I'm just going to cheat with this one actually, so I'll pull 6 more. This is one of my I'll pull 7 in total because I am going to be doing a reread. I'm doing quite a few rereads, so I feel like that was kind of fortuitous that came out, but I'm not going to use it as one of my 6 because I've already counted the rereads as part of my TBR. But yeah, interesting that was the first one that came out. So we'll move swiftly on. So really this will be the first one. The book on your TBR that you've been avoiding. I have a few that aren't on this cart that I could probably pick, but let me see. Okay, there's 2 options that I could go for this, depending on which one. But 2 that I have been avoiding is this one, which is The Adventures of Amina al-Sarifi. And basically this is about a retired pirate. She's been out of the game for some time. She ends up getting contacted by this team to help with one final mission, and she decides to go on it. And I don't really know why I've been avoiding this one. I've read from Shannon Chakrabarty before and really enjoyed her writing. So it's The City of Brass is her other series, and I think it's just because it is an older protagonist kind of following a mother, and I don't know, something's just not pulling me into it, so I have been avoiding this one a little bit. But I do know anyone that's read it has really rated it highly, so I could potentially pick up that one. And then the other one I've been avoiding is Blood Mercy by Phila Roth, and mainly because I think there's around 8 books in this series and they're all pretty chunky and dense like this as well. So I think I've been avoiding it because I want to be really ready to start the series. And to be honest, because of that, I think I'm going to pick The Adventures of Amina al-Sarifi because I do want to try and finish a few series before I start embarking on some new series. I'll probably be eating my words when I start to pick up some of my other picks. But yeah, I think just in the interest of my chaotic TBR that I already have in August, I think it would be for the best to pick up Amina al-Sarifi. So yeah, first one on the TBR will be this one. And as I say, it just follows kind of a retired smuggler pirate, and she's supposed to have been the best in her field. And yeah, I think it'll be interesting. It is an older protagonist, it's a mother, it's supposed to be really good in terms of the banter and things like that. So as I said, I don't really know why I've been avoiding it. I've made up excuses for not reading it, but I think I'm going to pick up this one, and I think I have the audiobook for this as well, so it's quite a handy one to have on the TBR. Okay, prompt number 2. I'll go right down, hopefully get one that I haven't got before. Oh, this will be easy. This is basically a free pick. A book with a female main character. To be fair, most of my books do have female main characters. It's just what I kind of go for. So this may take a little while to pick. Okay, I think because of what I just said in terms of the interest of not trying to read series or not trying to pick up new series as much as possible, I think I'm going to pick this one. So The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. Again, this is an author I've read from a few times and absolutely love her books. Really, really loved her writing. I've heard that this kind of gives The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue vibes. So going by that, I think it's one that I'll really enjoy because I absolutely love Addie LaRue. This one just says, in a small mountain town of Jasper, North Carolina, June Farrow is waiting for fate to find her. The Farrow women are known for their thriving flower farm and the mysterious curse that has haunted them for generations. The madness that led to Susanna Farrow's disappearance left her daughter June to be raised by her grandmother. Everyone in Jasper is certain it's only a matter of time before she finds the same end. But June has kept secret that her unravelling has already begun. After her grandmother's death, June follows a series of clues to link her mother's disappearance to the town's dark history, leading finally to a mysterious door. Behind it, it may lie the answer to the mysteries that have always lingered, like a dark shadow. Upon crossing the threshold, June embarks on a journey that will not only change both the past and the future, but entangle her fate and her heart in a star-crossed love. So it sounds really good. It does sound kind of whimsical. It sounds like something I'll enjoy. I think summer is probably a good time to read it. It looks like it has kind of summer vibes in there, but yeah, I mean, alternate universes, whimsical, all of that type of thing is usually my vibe completely. So yeah, really excited to read this one. I've heard it's really good, so glad to get it on the TBR this month. Okay, and prompt number 3. A book set in another country. Okay, so in Ireland, obviously, most of them are set in other countries for us, so again, it shouldn't be that difficult. But I think just straight away when I'm looking here, there's another one that I wanted to get on my TBR for quite some time, and that's What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. And this one, I've wanted to read it because all I've heard is it's basically like The Mummy. And that's all I needed to know. That film is an absolute classic, absolutely one of my favourites. And I believe this is to do with a female protagonist who is from Buenos Aires, and I believe her mother and father go to Egypt on an expedition or something like that, and they go missing. And she basically follows them to try and figure out what's happened and try and find them. And yeah, it's one that I wanted to get on my TBR for quite some time. I believe the second one is coming out soon as well, so it's probably a good time to read this. And I know I don't want to start a new series, but I think because this is technically at the moment the only book in the series, I'll only be catching up with it essentially. So yeah, I think I'll pick this one for that prompt. Now on to the 4th prompt. So a book with a person on the cover, and I'm holding that up, you cannot see that, but a book with a person on the cover. And again, a lot of the time there isn't people on the covers, but let me just see. So we've got A Fragile Enchantment, which has people on the cover. Then I do have Fall of Ruin and Wrath by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which again has some people on the cover. I have Love on the Brain, which technically could count. And then also I do have Blood Mercy, which could count. Do I want to read this? I feel like the gods are trying to tell me to read this. Like I really need to pick this up. It's a few prompts now where this has kind of been applicable. Should I just do it? Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to do it. I wanted to read it for quite some time, so I'm going to get this on the TBR. So Blood Mercy, I don't know a lot about it. I just know that it's about these kind of 2 kingdoms where one is humans, one is, I believe, like vampires. I think there's a slightly different take on it, but one side is vampires. And basically these 2 are kind of brought together as advocates for their sides, essentially. And they're supposed to be kind of brokering peace between the kingdoms. And as I said, I don't know too much about the series. I've just heard that it is quite political. The world building is quite intricate, so it does take some time to get into. But again, I've heard it is definitely worth sticking with it. So yeah, I'll add this to the TBR. I'll probably regret it because I feel like I'll probably binge this and I'll want to read all of the books in the series straight away. But I feel like the prompts are really pushing me to get this on the TBR. So yeah, I'll pick this one for that. Okay, and the 5th prompt. Ooh, a book with a red cover. Don't really think any of these are red. They're mostly pink. Or, I mean, no, that would be pushing it a little bit to say that this is red. It's not very red, it's kind of more pink. So let me check my other shelves to see, is there anything on here that I think would be a good pick for that one? Okay, so there has been one I've wanted to read for some time, and it's by a local author, Shauna Lawless, and it's The Children of Gods and Fighting Men, and basically it's based on Irish mythology, Irish history, and that type of thing. So it's one that I have wanted to read for some time. I believe there's maybe 3 books out in this series, so again, I'm kind of breaking my series rule, but the prompts aren't being kind to me in that aspect, so I kind of have to pick something that's within the prompt. So yeah, I think I'm going to pick this one because supporting a local author, it is one that I wanted to read for some time, and it looks relatively short, so it would be a good one to get on the TBR to hopefully fly through. I do think I can get the audiobook for this one on Libby as well, so again, that's always helpful. So yeah, I'm going to add this one to the TBR. Okay, and last prompt. Oh, one fell out. I feel like that's jumping at me. A book that starts with a random letter, so I need to do a letter generator, so I will need to use my phone. So I'll just click off here and I will come back. I will record it so that you know what letter comes up, but yeah, I'll just get that done. Okay, so you'll probably see on screen that the letter that was chosen was R. So I literally have one book that I could use for that prompt, and it is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. So yet again, breaking my no new series rule, but here we are. But yeah, this is one again I've wanted to read for quite some time. I think it's YA as far as I know, and I believe a lot of people quite like this. I think this is quite an older series, so it's one that I've had on my TBR for quite some time and just haven't got around to it for one reason or another. Now, I did read her series Realmbreaker, or at least I read the first one, and to be honest, it wasn't really for me, but I've heard that this series is quite different, so excited to see what we get from this one. I don't actually know what this one's about. It just says the Reds are commoners ruled by a silver elite in possession of godlike superpowers, and to 17-year-old Mer, a red girl from the poverty-stricken stilts, it seems like nothing will ever change. But Mer possesses a deadly talent of her own, one that threatens to destroy the balance of power. Fearful for her potential, the Silvers hide Mer in plain view, declaring her a long-lost silver princess, knowing that one false move will mean her death. Mer must use her new position to bring down the regime from the inside. Now Mer has entered the game of betrayal and lies. So yeah, that sounds pretty good actually, so it does sound like it'll be quite a fun, fast read. Excited to see where this one goes, and yeah, to be honest, with the rest of the books that are on my TBR, I may not prioritize this one too much just because I think there's like 5 books in this series as well, so I don't want to read it with the intention of, you know, not reading the rest of them anytime soon. So we'll see. This is definitely a maybe, because looking at this TBR now, I don't know when I am expecting to be able to read all of these books as well as my rereads that I'm planning to do, but yeah, we're nothing if not optimistic on this channel. So yeah, just to recap on everything I've picked then, for the TBR for August, the very, very ambitious TBR for August, we'll have The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, The Children of Gods and Fighting Men by Shauna Lawless, Blood Mercy by Fila Roth, What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez, The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young, The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarifi by Shannon Chakraborty, The Curse of Sins by Kate Dramas, Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings, The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kwong, The Throne of Broken Gods by Amber V. Nicole. That and my SGM rereads, I believe it's Throne of Glass and second one in the series, which I can't remember, Crown of Midnight, I think is the second one. So the first 2 books in Throne of Glass, as well as potentially squeezing in An Ember in the Ashes, but we'll see. We'll see. My rereads may go on the back burner for that one because, yeah, I've got quite a lot on here, so let's see how we go. Let me know what's on your TBR for August. What are you planning to read? What's kind of your priority for this month? I'm definitely excited with all of the reads I have here. I've got so many books on my TBR right now that I think it's still just overwhelming. I've tried to use the TBR cart to kind of narrow it down, but when I'm staring at them, I just always want to read all of them all at once. So yeah, let me know what your priorities are this month, kind of what you're wanting to read. If you like this video, do remember to give it a like, and if you want to see more from me, remember to subscribe. It'll be videos like this and also book hauls, come shopping with me, reading vlogs, all good bookish things like that. Other than that, thanks so much for watching this one. I hope you really enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one soon. Bye!